Hello. We just really wanted to reach out and thank you for coming along to the Housing Forum a couple of months ago and for all of your positive feedback and involvement and interest in the Waterfall Way Community Land Trust. We're really keen to stay in touch with you and to invite you to support the Community Land Trust once we've established. We're really close to incorporating, and we're going to be coming back to you and the community early in the new year with a range of different ways that you can get involved as we work together to build this local housing solution at a time when we really need it. In the meantime, we've made a video of the highlights of the forum, and we really hope you enjoy them and that it reminds you of what we talked about and where we're going. And thanks again for coming, and keep an eye on your inbox to hear from us. Bye.
Basically what I'm saying there is my family are the traditional owners, previous estate. We really know what it's like to be pushed out of an area for economic reasons.
And then the rental crisis all sort of happened all at once. So it left us without anywhere to go and any source of solid income. So that house deposit that I had, I've basically been using to live on, to pay my rent.
So we know there aren't any silver bullets, but here in Bello, we definitely have something special, the collective spirit to do it differently.
Welcome. It's really fantastic that you've come here to talk about housing, to love the problem and then love the solutions. That's what we're on about today. Our initial focus is on trying to find an answer to the really bleak situation we find ourselves in relation to how can people who are on local wages live here, and what do we do to keep the community going in terms of that cohort.
People now, when they buy a house, they see that as the way that they're going to build wealth. It's not just a place to live anymore, it's a way to build wealth. And it's not just for investors. Everybody sees housing as the way you're going to build wealth. And that is, in my view, that's inimical to being something where you're providing a human need.
And so where there's affordable home ownership as part of the CLT stock, which will be scattered throughout the region that they serve, that ownership stays affordable in perpetuity. So they'll use a range of legal agreements to make sure that it stays affordable when it's resold, or when it's left to kids, or in a rental property when it's leased out to the next person. So there's a range of legal agreements that they use to make sure that the homes are staying affordable in perpetuity.
I'm just really impressed with all the work that Housing Matters Action Group have worked on since 2018, and how the community here in Bellingen has really come together to ensure that people have affordable housing, and that's a priority.
When I come to places like this, I have a range of emotions. I love what Housing Matters are doing, but I know as a long-term renter the effects of what it can have on people, and that, especially young families or old families. And I'm privileged to be able to have got into the market and have my own house, but then I still feel the pain. The guys I work with, the local tradies I use, that haven't been so lucky.
I think the most important message I heard today, it's been said a couple of times, is we've really got to do something differently. And the reason I think we've got to do something differently is not because we're in some sort of cyclical crisis around housing. We actually have a very long-term systemic problem. It's a structural problem, and it's been building, as Alan Kohler said, from my generation in the 70s. It's been accentuated by the things that happened in the 1980s and the 1990s around deregulation, and then by changes in tax and an attitude that housing should be wealth creation.
Housing issues are not just about metropolitan areas, that in regional areas we have some very serious housing issues, and they're only getting worse, but also that local action can actually do something about this. And I think we've demonstrated that very well today, that we do, because we've got people who are really interested in this community and in this town and actually keeping it viable in the long run for all kinds of people, that there are some things we can do locally that can push that along.
It was such a fabulous day. Thanks again to everybody who helped make it happen. We've got lots of updates coming through, so subscribe to our monthly e-news, watch this space, and let's work together through 2025, because together we can make a difference.